Mark the Machine Hominick. Now, I got to ask, where's the name come from?
Well, it came from a trainer, Sean Tompkins. He
Yep.
just kind of thought that when I trained, I kind of shut off all emotions and just, acted like a machine. You just put in the work as hard as I could go, as long as I could go. There was no emotion in my training, really.
Now, you mentioned Sean Tompkins being part of that whole organization. I mean, there's a lot of great fighters within that. How long have you been with him for?
I've been with Sean for 11 years now,
Wow.
and he's my true mentor in the sport.
Now, how did you choose him, and why have you been with him for so long?
Well, I started training when I was about 13 years old and was
Right.
training locally and competing in jiu-jitsu tournaments on the ground, and I knew of Sean Tompkins, heard about this kickboxing instructor, and then I went to him when I was 17 years old,
Right.
and he really just took me under his wing. He saw the talent I had and dedication, and just took me to the next level for mixed martial arts.
Now, you've worked with some amazing, influential fighters over the course of the many years you've been fighting. Who are some of the most influential people you've fought with, and what have they taught you?
Well, when Sean made the move to Extreme Couture, that's when it really, we went to the next level.
Right.
Training day in, day out with Randy Couture, Forrest Griffin, Vanderlei Silva, Tyson Griffin, Gray Maynard, like the best in the world.
These are some huge names.
Exactly, and these are the guys you're working with on a daily, training camp. So they were like on the mental and physical side, great mentors under Sean.
Now, you're the owner here at Adrenaline Training Center. How long have you been here, and who else is involved?
So the owners are Sam Stout, Chris Ordecki, and myself. We've all trained under Sean for all about 10 years, and once Sean made the move on to Vegas, we decided that, we had to carry on his name, his tradition, and open up the Adrenaline Training Center here in London.
Now, you've fought at featherweight and lightweight weight divisions. Which do you prefer?
100% at 145 at the featherweight division.
Right.
The only two fights I fought at 155 were with the UFC.
Right.
And the only reason for that is, I've always wanted to fight against the best in the world. And,
Right.
and UFC is the biggest name promotion. So I went up and I took that shot. Ended up going 2-0 in the division.
That's amazing. Now, what weight do you normally walk around at when you're not fighting?
I'm about 161 in training camp, so I cut about 15 pounds to make the 145 limit.
How long does it take you to do that?
I do it over about 2.5 weeks. I don't like
really?
to do it in the last week. I get down to about 9 pounds over the week of, and then
Right.
slowly cut it out. And then the last day I do 5 pounds of water.
That's awesome. Most people can't lose 15 pounds in a matter of 2 months. And you got money commitment. Can you give us some insight as to what it really takes on a daily basis to be a pro fighter?
Well, for me personally, fighting now on the elite level, we do about 8 to 10 week training camps.
Right.
2 practices a day, 6 days a week.
Wow.
And that's just complete commitment to the sport. But when you look at that, to get to that level, it took 10 years to get there. So,
Right.
People see the 15-minute fight and think we just signed up one day and thought
Right.
we were going to try this out. Like with myself, it took me 8 years to get to the UFC and to the, the elite level.
Right.
And then I'm doing 8 to 10 week training camps for these fights. So it's
And
a lot of dedication.
What price did that come at?
It's a lot. Like I went through university, and this was my day. I got up at 5:30 in the morning.
Right.
I trained for 2 hours. I went to university school all day, did my homework, and then did another 2-hour practice at night. Did some more homework and went to bed and over again the next day. So it's just it's day in, day out. I think the hardest part of the sport is the daily grind that people don't see. Like I said, they see the 15 minutes of the fight. They don't know everything that goes with it.
They don't see the training that goes involved. They don't see the injuries that come with it.
For
the
sure.
daily. There must be something sore every single day.
Oh, for sure. Just finished after this training session. I had to get someone to pop my finger back in and
Right.
just popped
Where
out.
most people are like, I might not go to work tomorrow. Finger popped out, but you know what? The show goes on.
Exactly.
What's been the biggest fight of your career?
My biggest fight of the career was at UFC 58
Right.
against Steve Edwards. At that time, he was the #1 lightweight in the world, and I went up in weight class to fight him, and I ended up winning by submission.
Now, did you find it challenging moving up a weight class?
You know what? I felt good because I didn't have to cut any weight. I was having breakfast before I stepped on the scale.
Yeah.
So there's no added pressure. It was just I just felt like another day because, I didn't feel any difference from cutting the weight or anything, and there was no pressure on me.
Now, did you find it hard fighting someone heavier with possibly more strength? Or were you able to keep up that strength as well?
No, I try to go at him with speed and a lot of movement to make him tired, and I think it messed him up because I put a lot of forward pressure on him, and it made him uncomfortable in the fight.
Now, people say you learn from your biggest mistakes. Now, with that being said, what has been your biggest loss today, and what did you learn from that?
My biggest loss was against Josh Grisby in the WEC. It was a fight I was supposed to win, and I ended up losing by submission. And it was one of those fights where physically I was in the best shape of my life. I was physically ready. There was no question about that. I think it was more about the mental aspect. I just went in there thinking, just because I was in great shape,
Right.
that I was going to win. And maybe I wasn't looking past him. It was just like I wasn't focusing on that moment. Whereas now, I just look at my opponent, and that's the day, that's the moment I want.
You haven't made that mistake again.
Never.
So what's the future hold for you?
Right now, just preparing for WC 49 in Edmonton, Alberta, and I'm pumped to be fighting back in Canada, and it's going to be live June 20th on the Score.
That's awesome. Now, where do you see yourself in about 5 years?
You know what? World champion. There's no other thought in my mind.
That's the best way of thinking. Mark, thank you very much for today. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Tune in next time with Training with Pros.